Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything, and I am coming at you with another Wargaming in Miniature video. In today's video, we're going to continue on with our Napoleonic Project rules update. Okay, now I've got something special for you today. What we're going to do is we're going to do some brainstorming. I'm going to do some brainstorming, and I decided to go ahead and turn the camera on so you can kind of see or enjoy my thought process in developing my rule set. As you know, I'm writing a set of rules called Marshals and Generals. It's a game that I would want to play, Napoleonic 15 millimeter battalion scale core level game. So like you have a core on each side. It should be expandable to multiple cores. It could also be played with less than a core. So, but with the maneuver element is the battalion. All right, so let's go ahead and kind of show you what I have on the screen. What I have on the screen is some Napoleon's battles, general and unit stats, but I'm more concerned with the generals, because what we're working with today is what I'm working on is the general scale. I have set over on my table, I cleared out a spot on my table, and I'm going to put miniatures out and visualize how much space I'm giving to these generals for their command and control. As you know, I am using a command and control method very similar, very similar to Napoleon's battles. Okay, so I thought it might be appropriate for me to take some numbers from Napoleon's battles and modify them for my game. Okay, I am going old school. I've got a pen and I've got a clipboard with paper, you know, and I'm going to write some numbers down for each of these generals. Now, in my game, it's going to be, and I'm only looking at French right now. I'll also look at the British, but right now I'm just looking at French. So we're going to have Ney, right, as my overall general. He's actually above the core. He does not necessarily have to be deployed on the table. There can be a point on the table edge designated as Ney's headquarters, but I'm not going to do that. For this, like Wellington might also have that, or Napoleon might also have that, but I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to put a figure on the table, and in Napoleon's battles, as you look, Ney has a 10-inch command range. So I'm going to jot down 10 inches as his Napoleonic, or I should say Napoleon's battles range. Okay, let's go. Real, okay, has a 9-inch. Okay, now Real is the core commander in this battle, and then each division has a 3-inch. Okay, and I'm going to put has a 3-inch, except for Foy, as you can see, he has a 4-inch. And you can also see his response, like the way Napoleon's battles does their general stats is they give you a command range, they give you their quality, which average, good, or excellent, like Ney up here is excellent. And then there's a command and control value That's the number you have to roll less than on a 10 to succeed with their command and control. And you can see it looks like Bachelou and Foy are 7s, where Jerome was only a 4. And then the final number is their combat modifier. But I'm not using any of that. But I do believe that Foy was not a superior general, but he was better than his fellows. So having a 4-inch for Foy is, I feel, I think that's right. Okay. But all the other generals have a 3-inch. Now, I'm not talking about combat modifiers or anything like that, because what I'm working on today with you and on camera is command ranges. That's really what I want to command on. Now let's just get rid of the Kellerman and the guard. We're just gonna scroll down beyond that. Okay, when you look at the Anglo-Allied, you have Wellington, and because he's kind of like an army general and not just a wing general. He's not like, because Ney is not an army general. He could have been, but he was basically just like the left hand of Napoleon. But Wellington has a huge range of 17. Now that's not the same as Napoleon, who I think has something much larger than that. Okay, but then you have Orange, right? Orange would be the corps commander. He's the first Allied corps. But because of his inexperience and his indecisiveness, they decided to give him a 7-inch, which I don't know if I agree with that, because I think a corps commander has a staff that should... Okay, I can see now. They have a mixed staff, and I know Orange has and I can see some things getting lost in translation between him issuing orders to his Dutch and then his Belgian troops and his British troops, his Hanover troops, his Nassau troops, his Brunswick troops, whatever. They all might lose something in translation, so they gave him a shorter range. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that. If I wanted to implement a misinterpretation, I wouldn't make it hard and fast and subtract inches. I would make it a die roll. I would make it a do you understand your orders kind of deal. Or but because in Napoleon's battles, you don't roll any dice to interpret your orders. They limit it by inches. So it was just a methodology. I'm not sure if I agree with it. Okay, now under his command, he has a bunch of divisions, and they have a 3-inch range. Now, you could say that 3 inches... Alten has a 4-inch, where Perponcher is back to 3. Even though they've got good command, they are considered good generals. They are both considered +1 generals. They're all pretty much good +1s. Why would Alten have a 4-inch? When even the Guard division doesn't get a 4-inch. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, was Alten that much better? He's got a 7 already over a 6 for the Guard. I don't know if I agree with that. So I'll have to look at that a little bit later. Now, Picton, on the other hand, he's got almost as much command as a corps. He's got 5-inch, but he's also excellent, 8, and +2. They're giving him all the good numbers. But we're going to just give him a 5-inch because I think that's pretty outstanding. Now, see, Brunswick Division, 3-inch. Merlin, 3-inch. So pretty much what they're saying is 3-inch is pretty much the normal division with some exceptional characters that might have a bigger. And the cores, okay, there's no additional cores on the Allied. But I'm thinking what they're saying on the core side. I can always go through and look at my division generals all across the board because Napoleon's Battles gives a general roster for every nation and every general. I do have a second scenario completely. I think this one is Peninsula Battling. Now, that's an army, but they only gave him 13. That's Soult. So he's an army general with only 13. That's still lower than Wellington. But if you look at the generals, you're looking at 3 or 4. The average here is a 3. The goods all have 3s and 4s. Now this cavalry corps commander is technically a division commander, but they gave him a 6. And then the artillery reserve, he would be a division general as well, and they gave him a 4. So 3 to 4 is pretty much the numbers. But then when you look at the Anglo-Portuguese army, 9-inch. So he's acting like a corps commander, or Ney has a 9. So, but he's not an army general. Army generals, I would think, would have better than 9, right? Divisions, 3s and 4s as normal. Okay, armed with that information, I'm going to put some generals and some units on the table and see how much space that might apply to me. All right, so as you can see, I just threw some units on the field, and I pushed them to the far left of this table width. This table width is 5 feet. The Battle of Quatre Bras that I'm planning on designing for the core rules as like the introduction scenario or the basis of everything is a 6-foot table. And so, but I don't think that the army should stay in command with the unit on the far left and the far right. The far right, I think, should be some out of command action, or the French general would have to consolidate, like tighten up his front so that he could get everybody in command. All right, the next point I want to make is in Napoleon's battles, the inches represent approximately 100 yards. In my game, it's going to represent 50 yards. So my battlefields should be approximately twice as big as the Napoleon's battlefields. So the first thing I'm thinking of doing is just taking all of these numbers that they have given me and doubling them, and we'll use that to start, right? So Ney would have a 20-inch range. Rial would have an 18-inch range. Most divisions would have a 6-inch range, okay? But remember, that game is on a division scale. And division generals was the lowest general. They don't have brigade commanders. But I think, the way that system works is you only have to be able to reach the unit. You only have to get to the closest point of the unit, which I think I'm okay with that. That you just have to be able to reach any corner of the unit from your general. But that's taking this guy out of the equation, right? So he's no longer as part of the brigade. It's just the general has to reach the far end of the brigade, which I don't want that to happen. Or he doesn't even have to actually, technically, if I was playing Napoleon's battles, he wouldn't have to reach the far end of the brigade. He only has to reach the close end of the brigade, which, because it's assumed that that brigade has a brigade commander, he's just not modeled on the table. But in my game, I'm taking it one step shorter or one step closer to the ground, so he will have to reach the brigade commander. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is kind of just space the divisions from this brigade commander, which I'm going to put kind of in the center of a 4-battalion brigade. And this would be a brigade in line. Not individual battalions are in line. That's not the case. The brigade is in line. And I think that the brigade commander should be able to command every battalion in line in his brigade. Up to 4, maybe 5 or 6. I'll have to kind of take a look at that, and we'll see. And it might also be based on the number of battalions you have. I thought about doing it this way. Hopefully you can hear me, guys. I've got a different microphone out. Because like if this brigade commander starts with 4 battalions, maybe he's got a 4-inch command range. But I'm probably not going to do that. I'm probably going to just make it a default number. Okay, but let's take a look. If I was just a regular division general, doubled, it would need a 6-inch range, right? And so he would be sitting right about there. Okay, so far so good on this entire table. And then the corps, which is Real, or Riley as some people call him, he would have an 18-inch range from that division, right? So that's 12. And if I was to just make it another 6, that's 18 inches. So because I doubled it, Real should be able to command all of his divisions on the table, because this is more than halfway across the table. Right? 1, 2, 3. That would be the 6-inch or the 6-foot mark right there. So based on these numbers, the command and control is too big, in my opinion. There's too much ease of maneuverability. I want it to be tightened up just a little bit more. And then I was thinking of giving the brigade commanders 6 inches, but now looking at the table, and that's why I needed to break it out and look at the table, I think 6 inches might be too much. Yeah. Because this guy would only need 4 inches to get all of those battalions under command. So maybe if I go with a brigade 4 inches, That's 200 yards. And that brigade commander can command battalions up to 200 yards apart. Or I could go with 5 inches, right? Or give some good generals 5, like maybe a Foy. Because what I would be doing is just adding 1 inch instead of doubling from the Napoleon's battles numbers. Okay, let me think on that. All right, I'm adding a couple of battalions out here. Now, the issue is, let me get rid of this artillery. The issue I'm having is, it's not an issue, it's just thought process. The average French brigade at Quatre Bras, might be different in other battles, but at Quatre Bras is 5 battalions. Okay, there's a couple with 6 battalions, and then there's a bunch with 4 battalions, but most of them have 5 battalions. So that would be a 5 battalion brigade. I'm going to go all the way to the end, which I don't know if you can see on the screen because I covered it up. But I'm going to tighten these battalions up and this is not even deployed into actual line, which would make them even wider. You would have to debate on whether or not you wanted to put a unit behind another unit, or or have anybody go into line, which was the mixed formation was the center battalions would be in line and the end battalions would be in attack column. But that would be an extremely large brigade, and I'm thinking the brigade commander would struggle in maneuvering that. Okay, so I tightened him up just a little bit. I'm putting him sort of in the center. And if it was a normal general reaching out with 5 brigades, 5 inches looks like the perfect range. Okay, 5 might be a little bit too... That's close. Okay, that's 5. So I'm thinking a brigade on the norm would be 5, which in this case happens to be the number of battalions, right? 4 worked with 4 battalions. Okay, so I might actually do it like that. I might say those brigade commanders that have more battalions have a bigger inches. Maybe. I might do that. I don't know. Okay, so if brigades are 5, which is still bigger than your normal 3-inch divisions, right? Because I'm kind of scaling it up a little bit. A division general with 6 inches would be... Okay, I just shifted him over. And then Real being 9 inches. No, 18. I'm sorry, because of the doubling. I don't want to double. That's what I've kind of figured out. What I think I want to do is 1.5 times is kind of what I'm thinking. 3 would be, what would that be? 4.5. So I just rounded up to 5. A 4 would be a 6, right? So 4 would actually have a 6, which I think but a division would have 5, and then Real wouldn't have 18. What's 1.5 times 9? We're looking at well, a nay would be 15 because that's easy math. 10 goes to 15. A 9 probably also goes to 15, but 9 plus 4.5 is 12.5, right? So we'll go 13. Am I doing my math right? No, that's 13.5, right? 4.5, 13.5. Yeah, so it'd be, we'll just go 14. But this is a hypothetical. Okay, so 5-inch will allow him to command his entire brigade. A division would have a 5-inch from him or from his brigades, okay, which that gives the division general the same as the brigades. So if I decide to put this brigade online like this, the division won't be able to reach his 2nd brigade because you notice I'm already inside the halfway mark. I don't think I like that. Eight-inch. Or 9. I could up the level. That's another thing. I look, because remember Napoleon's Battles is a division level game and mine is a brigade level game. So, and I'm basically the lowest commander's brigade. I could just take all the divisions and shift them up or down one level. So, like in this game, in Napoleon's Battles, a division would have a 6. So maybe I give my brigades a 6. And in this game, the corps would be a 9, which would double to 18. Maybe I give my divisions the 18, but I don't want to do that. Yeah, 14 inches for Real. Let's take a look here. 12, 14. Okay. 1, 2, 3. There's the 6-foot mark, which is good. That means he can't get everybody under his command in a 6-foot table. If I go with this, yeah, 14, 8 or 9, 8 in this case, and then I could technically go 6 because I like making numbers round. Maybe a 5 or a 6 for a good general, right? Yeah, or the number of battalions that they start with is how many inches they get. Because like if there's only a 2-battalion brigade, he could easily command it with just 1 inch. But when you start getting to 3 battalions, a 3-inch will allow a little bit of separation or whatever. Also, divisional artillery is how I'm going. I'm not going any smaller than divisional batteries. So I'm going to have division generals command the divisional artillery and not the brigade commanders. But I think I'm going to allow both. So if he's within range of a brigade commander, the brigade commander can tell him where to go and what to do. So it's like he's attached. But if you don't want to do that, or if you don't want to attach it, then it could just be, I don't know how I'm going to do that. But I was thinking just the division general, but what if I want that artillery all the way on the end? I would have to give it to the brigade commander. So I think it's going to be either the division that it's attached to or either of the two brigade commanders. So any general in the division of the division artillery can command the division artillery. I think I'm definitely going to do that. Okay. So brigade, division, I'm thinking 8 or 9, right? 8 or 9 inch for the division generals. And then the corps, I think 14 might be too big. I mean, it is under the halfway mark, right? Which is 6 feet. But I still think that's too big. But when you're talking about multiple brigades, multiple divisions, because you know there's going to be 3 more infantry divisions. There's going to be 1 here, 1 here. What about the cavalry brigade? And again, they don't have to be deployed side by side. They can be deployed, with units in support, right? And that's kind of the way you would expect a brigade to approach. They wouldn't all be out there on line. There would be, and this is a way to tighten up. No, that's from Tennessee Titans. That is a way to condense a brigade. So, hypothetically, with a formation like this, a brigade with 3 inches could actually make a kind of fudging a little bit. Even a brigade with 3 could deploy almost with 4 battalions online. And then if you wanted to so maybe I go with 3 to 5, maybe 3 to 5, depending on the ability of the brigade commanders. Because that's a deployment of a 3-inch brigade. And then that would allow maybe a 6 or a 7-inch division and then a 6 or hypothetically 6 or 7-inch division like Foy would have an 8-inch, right? Because I'm thinking division doubled would be 6. Yeah, okay. Hold on. Yeah. Brigade 3 to 4. That way you're forced not to put everybody on a crazy line formation. It keeps you honest. The division would be anywhere between 6 and 8. So if this was Foy's division, well, first of all, he wouldn't have 5 battalions, or maybe he would, I don't remember, but I'm thinking he has 4 battalions per brigade. He would have an 8, so he could actually have a little bit more. Yeah, he would be way out to here. He would almost be halfway across the table. Yeah. And then $14. I still like the 14 for the core. Some core might be less, some core might be more. Okay, and then the corps commander is the overall commander of the battle in my rule set. But if you have multiple corps, then you'll have either a wing or an army, and he would be throwing out more command and control, which pretty much means the French are always going to be in command and control. And that's a big advantage of the French army. It's a huge advantage. Okay, so now let's I pretty much have settled on that. Brigades are 3 and 4. Divisions are going to be 4 to 8. And the corps is probably going to be 12 to 14, depending on their ability. And then the wing is probably going to be 15 inches. Yeah, so the artillery is going to be commanded by either the division it's under or the brigade commander. Okay. And then, yeah, perfect. Okay. That works. Okay, now let's do a little shift here. We're going to hypothetically say that these are British. Okay, so I went ahead, I zoomed in a little bit, but I also wanted to kind of take a division out of the Allies playbook, and I had to pull every Allied battalion that I have painted so far to kind of show this off. This would be the composition of the first Allied division, which I believe... Okay, let's throw another artillery battery out. Okay. This is actually the second Allied division. Perponcher. Yeah. Perponcher with Bylant and Godecki. Bylant has 5 Dutch Belgian, either militia or line, and Godecki has the Nassau contingent. So, you got like the 7th Belgian line, the 27th Jaegers, and then over here you got the Jaeger companies, volunteer companies, but you also have the 2nd Regiment of Uzagans, and then you have the the 28th Regiment of Orange, and all of these are one division. And then they also have 2 artillery batteries. They've got the Dutch and the Belgian each have their own artillery battery. So this is a fairly large division at this battle. And so I wanted to kind of put this into perspective. Okay, so if I take my brigade commanders and I give them a 3-inch range, right, like you do, everybody on the table right there would be under command. That would be, this brigade would be under command like that. It could actually be spread out a little bit more. Maybe not that far. Yeah, so it looks like only about 3 battalions would be able to go. And these are all attack columns. These are not even line formations. If I was to take one of these guys and put him into line formation, they of course would still be under command because that's less than 1 inch right there. But I wouldn't be able to reach out to another line over here, right? If I did, I would have to move the general all the way over here, and now he's out of command. So, but right there, that would keep all of them in command. And he could be in a line as well, because his edge is right here and his edge is right there. And by keeping that center unit as an attack column, it kind of brings all of the battalions in. If this unit and not this unit was in a line, it would still, the effect would still be the same, right? Because it would still be 3 inches to him and 3 inches to him with a line in the middle. And then you got a couple of other battalions in reserve, possibly militia. Okay, but yeah, so with a 3-inch command range, that's about as big as you're getting. But remember, some brigades are going to get up to 4 inches, and I might have to try to figure out who those brigade commanders are. Okay, and then if I give them a division of 6 up to 8, but I'm thinking 6. Whoops. That would be where the division general would wound up being, which is good, because now he can reach out to there. So the division can command these 2 brigade commanders spread out like that. Now, if this brigade commander only had a 3, he couldn't be that far. Well, he could almost be that far to the right, but he'd have to be in just a little bit. That artillery would be out of command because it's too far away. That artillery would be okay because it's within 6 inches of the division general. Remember, division generals can still command the artillery. So the player would have to ensure, what's his range? 3. Yeah, right there would be good. And then making sure the artillery is also within 3, and it is. So believe it or not, this amount of space for this really large division, it is fairly large, because there's 6 brigades or 6 battalions. Well, if you count this, there's 5 battalions and then that one. And they're larger battalions as well. And then these guys would have their 5 battalions. Yeah, that's working. Now, if I upped it to 4-inch brigades and 8-inch division, then of course, and this one doesn't say that the division should be upped, but like if it's Picton, it would be upped, right? Picton would have the 8-inch range, but this is not Picton. This is somewhere in the range of 6, 7, or 8. Right now I'm just measuring out at 6. And he could even be further out, actually. Oh, he can't be because he's got to be able to reach. Oh, he still can. Yeah. So that gives you command of every unit out there. And then if you take Orange with his 7, he should probably be closer to 10, 11 inches maybe. But I don't want to give Orange a 7. I think that's incorrect. Yes, I understand he's not a good general. Maybe he loses something in translation. Because he's a young boy, right? And he doesn't have a lot of battlefield experience. I get that, but that should not affect his command range, because the people he sends, his messengers, his horse riders, his dispatch riders, that doesn't matter, right? They're not Orange. They are professionals. So I think I should normally give him like a 12-inch range. It's not a 14, but at least it's a 12, right? So he's in between 2 divisions, right? So he wouldn't really be able to command the entire battlefield. He would have another 12-inch range, which if I'm giving him a 6 or a 7 and him a 12, I'm really limiting the allies by a lot. And then six, and then so yeah, you're looking at this corps with only 2 divisions, which he actually commands more than 2 divisions, would be pretty much stuck in a 4-foot area. So on the defense, that's okay because you can like defend Quatre Bras. You know, you don't have to flank all the way around and attack like maybe the French are doing. Plus, this does give this measurement technique seems like it's going to give the French an advantage on their command and control. By bringing Orange a 12 and Real a 14, you would think 2 inches is not that big of a deal, but it's 2 inches on each side, so it's really 4-inch advantage, which can be quite a bit. And then the divisions, I'm measuring them out as the same, 3s and 4s, and the divisions 6s and 8s. So that doesn't really change anything. It's just that if it was Real, he would be 2 inches that way, which would allow that. See how much further I got? And then Yeah, that's almost the entire 5-foot table. Right? You don't get to see that because it's so far off the screen, but it's only like 6 inches shy of the 5-foot table. So that's a big deal. Now, when the wing commander comes in and the Wellington comes in, I'm going to allow Wellington and Ney to act like an overall corps commander. So they will be able to reach out to the division commanders directly. I believe that units should be allowed to be commanded 2 levels below, but no more than that. So I don't think an army general should be able to command a battalion, right? It has to go through the chain of command. But I don't want, and this might be an exception to the rule, I don't want my division generals commanding battalions. Even though that is 2 levels down, I don't want that to happen. They can command the artillery, but not the infantry. So, or I might say they can. The division general can. I might allow that. Yeah, so any battalion within the range of their own brigade commander, their own division commander would be in command. And then when you start talking about divisions, as long as they're within, or brigades, or brigade commanders, right? Hold on, brigades. Can a corps give an order directly to a brigade commander? Ooh. That would allow this brigade to kind of move away from its own division if the corps commander deemed it necessary. I'm going to have to put some thought into that one. I think I like it. I think the idea is you can issue orders up to 2 levels beneath you, is what I'm trying to say. So when Ney shows up, he can't give orders to battalions because it's too far down the chain. He can give orders to the corps commander, which basically means the corps commander can shift or move around because he'll have his own range, and then this can reach out, and then he would give orders to either the division or the brigades that are under his command, and then the division would give orders to either the brigade or the battalion. I like it. I think we've come up with a rule. I like that rule. 2 levels down, not your immediate command. But I don't want like wing commanders or army generals even, like Napoleon. I don't want them giving command directly to a battalion. Now, there are units historically that were deployed in reserve that had that were under direct command of like Wellington, right? Wellington had units that he could command directly. But that would be brigades. That would be a reserve brigade that he would hold into reserve. in that case, I would have to say it was a special case. I'd have to put that in the rules as a override the general rule of thumb kind of idea. Okay. Yeah, so we're going to do that. We're going to go with, and here it is. This is the rule, and I'm going to go type it up as soon as we get off this video. Units can be commanded by the brigade commander that they're attached to. So this guy can't order these guys. Okay, that's fine. Or one step above, which is the division general, as long as it's their own division general, right? So this division is not commanding this battalion, but this guy can. So what that means is if he wanted to shift so this guy wouldn't have to keep him under command. He could shift, if he had the range, to keep guys over here in command, knowing that he was going to get command directly from the division general. Okay, that's okay. So units commanded by brigade or division, brigade commanded by division or corps, and then of course your division is going to be commanded by the corps or the overall commander. And then going up a little higher, it doesn't matter. Corps commanders can be commanded by the overall commander, obviously. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it that way. We got our ranges. And the default is 3, 6, 3, 6, 12. You notice how they're all doubling? 3, 6, 12. And then I only add 3 more, which I probably should add 6 more. Probably should just make that an 18. But I don't want it to be 18. I want nay to be 15. I want orange. Oh, orange is already at 12. So 3, 6, 12, 15. And then Wellington starts with like a 17. So, and if I add half again to that, or if I just leave it at 17, that'd be fine. But if Ney is 10 and I'm giving him 15, then I should give Wellington another 8 inches. I think that's pretty high. That would be 25 inches on the table. Yep, we're going to do it. 25 makes it pretty gigantic, especially when he can command corps and divisions. Yeah. So if that is orange, and that's Perponcher, Bylant, and Godecki, Wellington 25 inches away, which is pretty far. So he has like a 50-inch command range. So once Wellington's on the table, he's pretty much got a 6-foot table locked in. He's pretty much got it controlled. He just can't give orders directly to brigade commanders. He can give orders to division commanders. So pretty much every division on the table should be good. Well, within 50 inches, right? Well, 25 inches to each side. Which should be everybody on a 6-foot table. But you never know with people flanking. Some people are further forward. So on a 4x6, the furthest corners are 8 feet apart. approximately. So like this corner and that corner are you know, if you take a isosceles triangle or whatever, it should be 8 feet approximately, give or take a little. But with him in the middle, he's only got 50-inch range, which is not like if he decided to post himself over here, he could reach all the way to the corner, but I don't think he could reach all the way to both corners on a diagonal, on a 4x6. And then if you take this game into a bigger battle, let's say a Waterloo scenario, then 50 inches or 25 inches to each side is not going to cover a 9-foot table for a Waterloo, or an 18-foot table, or however big Waterloo is on a 50 yard per inch scale. Yeah, not sure. All right, guys. Well, that's where we're going to call it. I think I've hashed out quite a bit. I think I did a little brainstorming. I think I know where I want to go with my inches and the ranges for all the commanders. Now I just have to tweak the numbers based on generals' abilities and things like that. But I have a pretty good idea because I had to visualize it. How big is a 3-inch command range? How big is a 8-inch division? How big is a 25-inch army general? You know, Napoleon's going to be even bigger than that. He's going to be like 50 inches or something crazy like that. So everybody on the table will be under command probably with Napoleon. And it seems like because the British have such large brigades, it makes it hard for them to command and control, which is good because the French enjoyed like 1 brigade commander per man. It was pretty fluid, where the British, they got all these allied battalions showing up, and they just had to like, okay, you take over this guy, you take over this guy, and you know, because not everybody was a qualified brigade commander. So yeah, I think it's going to work pretty good. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to let you go, and I'll edit this video and get it uploaded. I'll see you in the next one.